I've had multiple experiences with different, what do you call, entities all my life, but at a story that kind of seemed like it kicked it all off. But I've had experiences all my life. This is when I was 16 years old. Um, I uh, I was up pretty late at night. I'm an artist, and I was doing art back when I was 16. And I went to go to bed, and I saw something hovering near my window, and it looked like a tire with a little red light, like that was going around in a circle.
Hmm.
Am I in the green room or am I live?
You're live,
No,
dude.
you're
We're
live,
listening.
man.
Take it away.
Trying to get a hold of you guys. Hell yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Thanks for having me on. So this is what I think was a my lab experience.
Ooh.
And that's when I saw your post, I decided to try to contact you. So I left messages on Instagram for you. Anyway,
Okay.
let's go back to the story and then we can talk about the rest.
Let's do it.
This led to like what I think was like gray experiences where it was invasive. Um, so I turn off the light. I see this little tire kind of hovering near my window, and I turn on the light real quick and look outside the window. And like I'd never seen a drone, like a military drone before. I'd seen like remote control airplanes and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but never a drone, right? So I thought it was like a UFO. I had no idea because it was 1988. It was June of 1988.
Okay.
Which it was just as I was going into like I think I was getting ready to go into sophomore year of high school. And so I turn on the window and this thing is flying near my window very silently, very slowly over over like the roofs of like we were on top of a hill. This is back in San Diego near the foot of Mount Helix. I lived on top of a hill, and I was up in the upstairs room. And as it was moving, it went from one window. There was three windows, one facing east, one facing south, and one facing west. And it was going from the it was going from the eastern window, and I went out to the western face or the southern facing window, and it was just moving very low, like almost like I mean less than maybe like 3 feet above house that the roofs of these other houses that went down a hill, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought I saw a UFO. I even told my friends at school I thought I saw a UFO, but I didn't realize what I saw. Um, and I didn't realize that these were connected, like these events in a way, but they happened pretty close to each other. Um, so we moved. We moved from that house where I was, raised most of my life, and then we went to another place called Rancho San Diego, which was like track homes. And this is about 3 months later we moved, and there was a night where I don't remember going to bed.
Hmm.
I don't remember. It was just black. When I woke up, I was going from this experience to not being able to move to basically just waking up with a splitting headache, like the headache I've never had before in my life. Like someone had taken a sledgehammer straight to my forehead. That's how bad it was. But I'm jumping around too much. So anyway, I had this, it was all black, and then all of a sudden I'm seeing flashes of what looks like a white room, and there's an alcove that resembles like a typical dentist alcove with drawers. I'm on a slanted table. I see like little gray aliens around me, and then there was brief mess like flashes of different things. There was something in front of me looking directly into my eyes, but it was all blurry. But for some reason, I could tell that they were like not happy with me for some reason or something.
Hmm.
And then there was this continuing like sound of what sounded like monks chanting, which was really odd. And then faces that looked like they were on fire and weird stuff. And then it brings me to this one point where I'm back at that old house and I'm walking. We had a pool in the back, and we had a long driveway. It was a 2-story house with just this little room on top. And I'm walking by the garage, and then I hear the sound that sounds like a metallic, like a male voice. I don't know how to explain it. Very metallic. I look up. There are three octagonal shaped crafts in a vector formation flying above me. I see what looks like the face of a gray kind of phasing in. And then for some reason, I said, "Don't leave me here," right? Like, for some reason, I ran to him, and the thing landed. It was the size of a toy. And then all of a sudden, it expanded in this weird thing that looked like a fetus, like, grabbed me. So then the flashes of stuff that I described, I know I'm jumping around. I'm trying to do this by memory as best I can, but
good.
I've been wanting to tell this story so much. So there's more flashes. It looks like tubes. I'm seeing tubes. And then it goes completely black. And the only thing I can know is that I'm conscious, but I have a headache. As I start to wake up, I'm on a couch with a pillow over my head. And then there's a gray standing there with a satchel, and his hand is up. And as it fades out of reality, like phased out of reality, like literally just kind of disappeared from solid to whatever that was. and I woke up, and without reference, I called it, like, I guess there was a cover at the time of Whitley Strieber's Alien. You know what I'm talking about? The gray face. And it was also on Time magazine. So I called it a Time Life Alien. I didn't know that they were called grays or whatever. But this led to, like, what were almost like seizures, kind of, where I heard a zapping sound in the back of my neck.
Huh. Wow.
I had an alien or a gray, or I couldn't tell you if they were. I don't know if they're aliens. I don't even know if the experience was real. But I've had multiple experiences. The one that directly happened after that, there was a swirl in front of my TV set. And this gray came out of the TV set. It tried to grab me, grab my face. And then when I was scared, I looked at it straight in the eye, and then I pulled back, and the gray, like, snapped its fingers, gave a smirk, and went back into, like, the swirly, like, vortex that I saw. I don't know. So later on, I started getting these memories, right? Like, of different experiences connected to that. And what I saw, okay, I didn't realize it was a drone until when Obama was president. He was flying drones over Afghanistan, right?
Oh, yeah.
This was a model of what those larger drones were, but it was smaller. And I didn't realize that what I had seen was a drone. Another thing, I took regression therapy for this, and I had a hard time getting to the memory. But when I finally walked in through the room with my mind, what I saw was a drone outside my window. And I had, like, weird flashes. This one, I mean, it probably sounds like it's unlikely, but it's true. I never watched the original show Outer Limits, right? But I was on Prime for a little while, and I said, okay, well, I'm a fan of Twilight Zone. I'll check it out, right?
I used to watch it when I was a kid. It was super creepy.
Well, the thing is the intro for that, with the deep voice, that's the exact voice I heard.
The Outer Limits.
Yes, and the original announcer, and that strange music. So I don't know what I experienced. I've had other experiences later on. I mean,
let's roll with this one for now, and
Okay.
definitely have you call back. So, for those who don't know, you started this by saying this was a my lab, and that's a military abduction. So
that's what I'm thinking. I don't know. Like, I don't know, but it feels like it because it's connected to the drone that I saw outside my window.
And do you think, because I've talked to a bunch of people who've had very similar stories to you, some of which I've written about in earlier Inverted World articles and in the books, they believe different things. So I'll ask you, do you think, okay, if it's my lab, is this military pretending to be extraterrestrial, or other people believe who've gone through very similar experiences, it's military working in tandem with what they think are extraterrestrials?
I think it's in tandem.
Yeah.
Because they've come through the TV twice. I had my dogs here like their hair was standing up right as I was about to be taken by something that was trying to look me in the eye. It's something about looking them in the eye that gets you like frozen.
Mm-hmm. When
time slows, I have time dilation issues too. Like whenever I'm near like an entity or whatever you call it, time slows down for me.
Interesting. So in the beginning when this started, you're saying it looked like this drone, what you didn't know it was a drone at the time, but this craft,
No.
right, it looked like it was searching through houses when you first saw it, or through windows.
The weird thing was I was like 16, maybe 15, going on 16.
Yep.
I didn't have my shirt off. I had my shirt off. That's weird, right? And I'm just sitting there drawing late at night. Like something was spying on me. And when you're starting to talk about kids being abducted or different things like that or whatever, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the first guy I ever talked to with this experience, he was 8, and he had something come to his window in Peekskill, New York, and it took, according to him, it carried him out of the window above the Hudson River into a very similar description. You said it was like a dentist situation with the drawers. I mean, you can go online. I'm sure everyone's seen it. You see, there's a bunch of stories like this.
Yeah.
Did you check yourself for any marks? Do you have anything left over?
I had a scoop mark on my hand, but that could have been like, as a kid, I had experiences with like leaving my body, right? Like I had I didn't consider them psychic experiences. I didn't know no reference to it until later on as I researched it. But I had strange, like, the first experience I had, I was flying over that same neighborhood and a UFO had landed on the playground and I flew over it, and these things were taking soil samples from the sandbox.
And how old are you at this point?
I think I was like 5 or 6.
And okay, so what do you say to someone who's listening and they're like, this guy just has an overactive imagination, or he can't tell the difference between a reality and dreams?
I would say, I don't care if you don't believe me, my reality, the one that I see, the one that I experiences, is filled my life with this stuff.
Right. Yeah, because you're saying you're experiencing stuff before and after.
Do I think it's real? I don't know. But I think that if they have the ability to take you, I think they also have the ability to probably create an environment in your mind too. Not saying that if they are aliens, right?
Oh yeah. When you were in this place, whatever it was, with these tubes, the drawers, and you said you heard the monks chanting, was there any other communication between you and them?
They told me something as they were flying by, but I don't remember what they were saying. It was like, it seemed like part reality and part like in my mind. Like, I don't know which is the exact reality of it.
How did they tell you?
I just like, you just know.
Like, were they using their mouths? Or
no,
they don't have mouths, I guess.
No, they did have mouths.
Okay.
Yeah. No, they spoke as they flew over, and when I called out to them in that moment, but they were saying something like it felt like it was coming from like a horn, or like something you'd speak through, like a what do you call it? They use in protests, or like a bullhorn or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was kind of like that, but distant. Yeah.
So I've got to ask really quick, because usually after we get a couple of stories like this, it's followed up with, oh, and by the way, I was on a lot of drugs. You weren't on anything, taking any medications or anything like that throughout the course of your life that might have caused some of this stuff to happen, were you?
Well, the truth of the matter is yeah, I did, because they were happening so much that I thought I was going crazy.
What about at the time of this first abduction?
This one, no, I was clean.
And so after this,
later on down the road, I was having a lot of experiences, and so I started drinking and doing whatever later on. Yeah.
Have you heard the monks chanting elsewhere?
The only thing I could say, it's like Tibetan sound, or like a Mongolian throat sound when they're holding a tune or they're meditating.
Yeah, I love that stuff. It's crazy, but
Yeah, I mean that's the only way I could explain
it's
it.
a weird thing to hear in that situation. Are you familiar with the theory about President Eisenhower having the treaty with aliens?
Yes, I am. I actually I have my own show too, and I talk about this stuff on top of my own experiences.
So what do you think then?
Uh,
So for those who don't know, do you want
yeah.
to tell us about that treaty to the best of your knowledge?
The Greada Treaty, yes.
Yep.
Supposedly Eisenhower had disappeared for a couple days. They thought he was in surgery, or he claimed it was something to do with his tooth, but they it wasn't. Did they land in Vandenberg Air Force Base? Supposedly that's where the meeting occurred, or was it another Air Force base? I don't know. But
I forget where.
supposedly he was met by not just the Greys, but the Nordics and these different beings,
Yeah,
right?
that's the theory, and they were allowed, according to the theory, they were allowed to abduct whom they wanted for a certain amount of time, and there was a technology exchange. Yeah, Brandon's got it pulled up right here.
Yeah, they did it at Holloman Air Force Base.
Holloman Out Air Force Base, yes.
It looks like they're saying there were 3 separate meetings. And this is from Daily Mail. 3 separate meetings between the commander in chief and people from another planet, is what the story reads.
Do you feel like when you see that stuff, does that kind of add up with how you feel about your experience?
The more I dig deep into it, the more I hear stories, the same repetitious stories every time, the more I become skeptical other than what I've seen and experienced in my own life.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't tell you about a Nordic alien, and if I'd seen one, I probably wouldn't know. Maybe I would. Maybe I have the time dilation thing. I can only tell you about what I've experienced. Like, I haven't seen a reptilian. I've seen something that looked like back in San Diego. I had experiences where I had time dilation, like in clubs and bars, like really crowded. I thought I saw what appeared to be people that weren't people. That's the only way I can explain it. There was something off about them. There was their eyes weren't natural.
So you think that there's non-human people trying to pass as humans amongst us?
Yes, either that or there's something attached to them. I think it's multiple things at once, in my opinion, from my experience.
That explains a lot of the bars in Chicago.
and most of DC. Let's go back to your story real quick. You said you woke up to one part or seeing a gray with a satchel. What was that about?
Yeah.
What did the satchel look like?
Like a brown satchel. The bag looked like it had like a almost like, you know how an envelope has like a V down it, like basically to his side. I would say it was, let's see, what side would it would be his left side, and it looked like it was brown. I couldn't tell you if it was leather, but it was all one piece, other than there was a little flap that looked like it was kind of like triangle shaped a little bit, I guess, you know, like something that you just open up. That's all I know. There was no belt buckle. And he had his hand up waving to me.
And any communication other than that?
No, it was just, I couldn't move. I had a pillow over my head. I was in a fetal position on the couch. And this thing was like kind of near the window. It was a small room. It wasn't a very big room that I was in. It was like a TV little room that we had at that house. And I slept on the couch, and I just had a pillow over my head. I was in the fetal position. And as soon as as he disappeared, I was able to move.
When you went for regression therapy, did you go for the purpose of trying to get this memory back?
Yes, but I didn't go. I went to my therapist who does hypnosis, rather than go to like somebody who was like a new age person or someone in the UFO community. I wanted something that didn't have anything to do with it. I wanted verification.
Right. And did you ever talk to anyone else, like family or friends, about this experience when it happened?
Yes, I did. I talked to my friends about it, you know, because I tried to talk to everybody about it, but the only ones that seemed to be sort of interested were my friends. But I remember at the time there was one of my friends that was kind of scared because he thought I had been abducted. He was in community college at the time, and he thought I had been abducted. This is later on, though, that I told this story.
And then you're saying you're experiencing some sort of after effects because of this when it comes to, was it you
Whenever I'm
heard some certain
encountering
things?
something that is an entity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I've had many different kinds. It's both like burden and like, it's burden and kind of like it's kind of not like, I don't know. It's weird. I have time dilation. I've had a lot more that I moved up here. In fact, like my wife and I share like experiences. That was like my validation that she's experiencing things with me too now.
Is this
So
something she experienced throughout her life, or is that new to just after having met you?
it was after she met me.
Interesting. Do you think when it comes to the military doing this, and I lean towards the military doing this stuff, I don't know, I'm skeptical about aliens and what that is, but I do know our government is up to some weird stuff.
Yeah.
Do you have any sense of why they picked you?
I don't know, but I remember this is another weird thing I forgot to mention. Like, I remember a day or two before this happened thinking, wouldn't it be great to be on a UFO flying around?
Oh
There was
man,
something in my
you
head that
summoned it.
premeditated, like the idea of something happening to me before this happened.
Reminds us of the caller last week who had a dream of a UFO before seeing the Chinese spy balloon. Those things happen. Yeah, that's a weird one, dude. It's crazy. I hear these stories a lot, and it's tough. I know some people are very skeptical of it. You know how I'm skeptical of everything, but it's hard to discount everyone having such similar stories, and it affects their whole life. And it sounds like it's definitely affected you to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Without getting,
to me, like normal.
I'd like to have you, you should definitely call back and share more, but without getting too much into it, like,
Yeah, no problem.
Have you had other experiences like that?
Yes. And I've had other experiences with other entities too. I don't know what they were, but when I've been near something like that, it's like like something tells me what it is. It's not like it's like, oh hey, I'm a Bigfoot, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's something like telepathic. When I see something, I just know what it is. Like this thing before me is not human. It's something either dark or weird or whatever. I don't know what I just know. But I know also by this, like, it's like you everything slows down and you see like trails where you see dust in the air, and you can literally see trails from the dust in the air going down as you're in this moment. I get like a weird anxious feeling in my my stomach a little bit when I'm near something.
Mm-hmm.
And then it shows me itself.
Let's all of us for a moment suspend any disbelief we might have and ask you, do you think what you're explaining is something you had as a child and they were interested in, or something they did to you?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there's something they did to me, but I think that I always had kind of experiences, but I didn't know. I'm just going by memory, from a little kid, and then that all the way up from the ones as an adult. But I think so. Maybe it was just being, I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
And I ask because that's something else that a lot of these people with similar experiences, they speak about amongst themselves, because they don't know. Some of them do wake up with scars or things they claim were in their brain and they can't get out, or some sort of like, the classic 3 dots stuff. It's wild stuff, man. I appreciate you calling in and sharing the story, and I hope you call back.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I will now that I know that you take callers, I will try to call in again. I hope you have yourself a good night. Thanks, for having me on.